there can be certain scenarios in which you might need to use one for loop inside another for loop. That is called nested for loops. You are using a for loop and then you want to do some more repetitive tasks for every value in the first for loop and to get some multiple outputs. So in that case, you can use nested for loops. Let's say you want to print the tables from 1 to 10. So in one situation, we saw like how we can print the table of any number using one for loop. But if you want to print multiple tables, then we should have multiple values, right? In that case, we can use two for loops, nested for loops. So I'll show you how to print a table from 1 to 10 using two for loops. So it would be very simple. Your first for loop will contain the number which table you want to print. So for I in range, and since I need from values from 1 to 10, I have to define 1 to 11, right, in range. Then the same for loop code that we saw previously for a single table, we can use that also, but here I cannot take I again since I already have I, so I'll take some different value. Now again from 1 to 10, let's say this is confusing. Let's say I want from 1 to 5 only. So I'm taking this 6 and table I'll be printing from 1 till 10, right? So I have to give 1 and 11 in the start and stop values. And then finally the print statement. This into, I'm sorry, this into this equals this. Dot format, this will be my I, comma j, comma I into j. And I'll show you how nested for loops work also in the debug mode. But first, let's see the result. And just to differentiate between every table, I'm going to put this star, line of star. So just to make it more readable. Yeah, now if you see what is happening here, in the first for loop, I am getting the individual values. Let's say I've got 1. Now I'm going to the second for loop, then iterating for writing the table for 1 from 1 ones to 1 tens, right? I've got that one. Once this for loop is completed, I'm going to the next statement, and I'm printing this star just to differentiate that I have completed this for loop. Then I'm going back again to I, and I'm getting the next value, that is 2. Then I'm writing a table for 2. Then again this star. Then again the same thing continues with 3, 4, and finally 5. After 5, I'm done. I'm exiting out of the program. So this is how nested for loop works. I'll show you how it works in debug mode also. So I'm putting two breakpoints, one for this for loop and one for this print statement, just to see when this is getting executed and when this is getting executed. Okay. Now, as you see, when we start our program, the I value I am getting here is 1, right? Next, when I am stepping into it, now I move to the third line. What do I have in the J? I have 1 in J, and my I is also here. When I have done the printing, now I, J, and I into J. I have 1 into 1 equals 1. But I'm not going to the 6th line since this for loop is still active. So I have to wait until this for loop gets completed. Now, if you see, my I value is still 1, but my j value has changed. And similarly, it will continue up until 10. So I'm just stepping over till 10 just to show you now. So I have all the values till 10, and once we have reached this 10, the next value will be 11, and at 11 it will stop. So it will not go to this line. If you see now, it's going directly to this line. We have skipped this statement and we are going to this line because I have reached the stop value. Okay. After this statement, now you see I have all the values from 1 into 1 till 1 into 10, and I have the last print statement also here. Now in the next iteration, if you see, I have again got my I value incremented to 2, and the j value has been reset to 1 because now this for loop is starting again freshly. So this is how the program works. I can just show you for every values, but this is just to give you a basic idea how the logic works within a program and how nested for loop works. So I hope this is clear. So I'm just moving on. If you see, after 2 into 10, again I have this starts, and then again my I has been incremented, and it works in the similar way. Okay. So that's how nested for loop works.